Welcome back to the Fundamentals podcast, where we talk all things related to sports. What's going on? We had a packed week.
Man, boy,
Yeah,
interesting weekend. Definitely an
Inter-
interesting weekend.
interesting weekend. It
A
was. There was
lot of,
some games.
unexpectedness
Yes, yes,
that went
yes.
on.
Um, I don't know. I feel like there's so much we could talk about. What's well
Hmm.
you start. You tell me what we talking about to start this thing off, man.
I ain't expect my boys to go out there and play like that.
Yeah, against
Well,
against Minnesota.
actually, I will say this: it wasn't that we played terrible. Minnesota just played good.
They played good.
They
They played good
played
ball.
stellar defense. They
You
really
had
did. They played stellar defense. Well, and we had some mishaps. You know what I'm saying? I
there
think
was
Kyle
yeah
Shanahan probably should have went for the field goal when we got down to one. There's a couple of things they could have did better as far as like play calling.
right.
Like I was kind of questioning some of the play calling, especially when it was on that 1 yard line. It's like, man, just try to run that
Just take
ball
the
in there.
yeah
You know what I'm
yeah
saying? Or
yeah
just take points. I'm like, just
take
take
the
the
point.
points. You
Yeah,
struggling.
I'm gonna take the points, guy.
Yeah, you struggling to get downfield because our first
hmm
two drives were punts,
hmm
and then we finally got one that goes, down there,
hmm
and you know, it's just like the momentum kind of ain't in your favor right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got a
Right.
little bit of you doing a little bit of good moving the ball, but
hmm
I just felt like you got sometimes you just got to take points when you can get them. You know what I'm saying? Because if we would
Absolutely.
have took those three, the end of the game looks a little bit different. Now I will say is a little. I can't say call it luck, but that 98-yard bomb
Oh yeah yeah
to
yeah yeah
Jefferson. I mean, come on
yeah
now. You know what I'm
yeah
saying? So
yeah
that
yeah
was the game changer, technically. You know what I'm
yeah
saying? Because after
yeah.
that, we really couldn't. I mean, because we made some big plays. We did
Right.
get the ball back. We did make some big stops.
hmm
They got that one touchdown there, and but they scored. The other one was just a blown coverage where the
Coverage.
tight end just ran, well, dude just ran straight in the end zone by himself, naked. I was
Right.
like, dang, y'all just gonna let this man go streaking down the street like that? You know what I'm saying?
Right. I
Yeah.
I think
So,
because you
but we
had
just got
texted me about
outplayed.
it.
Yeah.
You had text me. I hadn't flipped to that game. I was watching like Washington and New York or something, and I had flipped to it, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And I was watching, and I was like, oh. And then I was more watching Minnesota because I was like, I know what San Fran can do.
Yeah.
Like realistically, like I know who that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't have to watch because I already know who they are.
Yeah.
Before the season, I admit I wrote Minnesota off. I was like, oh, they're rebuilding.
Yeah. You didn't think
There's nothing,
Sam Donald was gonna be doing
right?
anything,
I didn't. Um,
But
and
like I
then
said,
when
I did that time forget about Aaron Jones in the backfield. But I was just more impressed by the defense more so than anything.
the
Like,
defense is what surprised me. The
yeah.
defense was even like watching the game. I was like, they ain't scared. Like that's what I
Mm-hmm.
saw. I saw a defense that wasn't scared, that didn't care
Yep.
who San Fran had. They didn't care. They just knew we finna go out here and ball and play our game.
That's a big.
We ain't scared.
That's true. Well, another stat I didn't know: we haven't beat them in 8 tries in Minnesota.
Really? I didn't
Yes,
know that.
they. I
I
just
didn't.
I heard that today that we've lost the last 8 games to Minnesota when they played in Minnesota
Oh wow.
since like
Oh wow.
1992 or something like that. We ain't beat
That's
Minnesota in
that's
Minnesota.
interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting. That's an interest. Well, here's the thing. We always talk about any given Sunday, right?
Hmm.
And I feel like we always say like play your game every week. Like play your game every week. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things where you have to ask yourself, are the teams that are playing these games feeling like we're going to beat them already? Like they're ahead of the game. Like they feel like this should be an easy one. Because
Hmm.
we as fans sometimes have that same sentiment,
Yeah.
right?
For real, we do.
And you have to question, do the players and the coaches, I don't think even so much
Hmm.
coaches, but I think players
Players
kind
probably
of
kind of. I mean, because most players. Yeah, no, let's just be honest. if you were any kind of competitive person, you don't think anybody's gonna beat you.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
let's just be honest. You
Yeah,
ain't
yeah, yeah.
going
That's
in there
fair.
looking like this team is gonna beat. We gonna
Yeah,
stomp them. You know what I'm saying? It's
right,
kind of like
right.
like
Every
us
pro
playing
team,
video games. You know what I'm
right?
saying? We ain't going in there like, oh, I'm about to get blowed out by this dude here.
Yeah,
We ain't really, you may say that, but your mind, you ain't thinking that. You thinking
you
I'm
ain't.
about to go
Yeah,
ahead and get this dub real quick. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Get
right,
them off
right,
the
right,
sticks.
right. Yeah,
So I think every player has that. They go in there. They're not trying to overlook the game, but
right.
just you already thinking that well, we going to,
Yeah, yeah.
we secretly we gonna go in here and
Yeah.
you know what I'm
It's on your
saying?
mind. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
on your
So,
mind.
but I think that there's a little bit of that in there. And
Yeah,
you could easily overlook some things, or I just think our biggest problem was just certain execution. I didn't like the way Brock Purdy was playing all through the game either. He
he
made some,
struggled. He
yeah,
struggled.
he made some.
Let's just call a spade a spade. He
I mean,
struggled.
some of them passes he was throwing, like one that he threw the use check, and I'm just like, bro, there's like nobody. You throwing into four people. I'm
Yeah,
looking at Debo on the sideline, like just
yeah,
throw a little flat out to him. You know what I'm saying? Let him get
yeah,
some yak yards or something. You threw it
yeah.
into four
That's what
people,
he's
like
good at. Debo is good at getting those
yeah.
yards,
And
man.
it's just like some things that we did usually. I mean, it's characteristic of Brock Purdy because he's one of them ones that he will. You know what I'm saying? And he's done throwing them into tight windows, so he
Yeah,
could do it. But sometimes you gotta go
you
against
get,
it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You really gotta
yeah,
keep yourself from doing that, especially when you got four people over the middle. It's just like this could be an easy you throwing
yeah.
picks because you doing something wild. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
But
right.
all in all,
Yeah,
they just outplayed us. That's
yeah.
just the only thing I can say is they just outplayed us. I mean, our defense stood fast for the most part, kept us
Hmm.
in the game, made big plays when we needed them, like the fumble on the goal line, the
Yeah.
pick on we got a pick while they were moving the ball. So it was just like our defense was keeping us in the game. The offense just couldn't get right.
Couldn't get
I
it.
mean, we
Yeah.
was running the football pretty effectively. Mason he had a pretty good, a decent game running the football.
Hmm.
But overall we just didn't execute like we were supposed to.
It came down to me looking at it and then like kind of looking at the score and like you explained it perfectly. Execution, like it was
Hmm.
they executed better than y'all executed.
Yep.
That's what it came down to. Like
Yep.
that's just the reality of it. It
Hmm.
wasn't one of those things where they just like went and like just beat y'all like just on every level. It just came down
It's
to
it,
they
it's
executed
it
better.
started it led. I mean, it started looked like it was about to be a track meet. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah,
Mhm. Then we
when I
got that
like
when we got the interception that turned the tides back to our favor. But they
right
were.
like in
Mm,
totality of the game, yeah, it just turned
hmm.
into an execution thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Um, I watched 3 quarters of the Rams and Arizona Cardinals game. I did turn it. Now, here's the
Phew.
thing. This is what I'll say, right? Um, It is a injury plagued season already. Have you looked at our injury report? Have
I
you
know
seen
y'all
it?
got Cooper Cup gone. Y'all got what's his name? Nicole Nakua.
Puka Nakua. Let me
Yeah,
see.
he's gone. Y'all banged up on the line, aren't you?
Yeah. So here's what we got. They haven't announced it yet, but it's looking like Cooper Cup's going to be on IR, from what McVay said. Puka Nakua
Mm,
is on IR.
mm.
Tight end Davis Allen out. Tyler Higbee pup list. Our starting left tackle Joe Noteboom IR. Our backup left tackle Leviston IR. The other offensive tackle Connor McDormand IR. Our guard, one of our starting guards Steve Avila IR. Um,
Phew.
Jonah Jackson another guard IR. Defensive line uh, Laurel Murchison, IR, cornerback Darius Williams, IR, safety John Johnson, IR.
Look, I'm gonna do y'all a favor. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do y'all a favor real quick. Go ahead and call McVay. I go ahead, get me on the squad. You know what I'm saying? I'll get on the offensive line for you or something. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's gonna cost y'all a fraction of the price. It's still gonna
yeah.
cost, but it's gonna be a fraction
It's
of the price. You know what I'm saying? I,
yeah,
I'll try my best
yeah.
because
Because at
y'all
this
ain't got
point,
that there anyway. So
right,
you might as
there
well
ain't nobody there.
y'all might as well go get the replacements. You know what I'm saying?
It,
Dang, Doug.
like yes, yes, all of that are IR, which means
They at least out for four to 6 weeks.
at least 4 to 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be week 8 before they come back, right? At you know. So when you look at that,
Boy.
right? Like start the two starting receivers gone. The both both tackles gone. Both guards gone. Right? So like when you look at that, the whole offensive line is a makeshift
Yeah.
because we're like it's bad, man. It's bad.
Yeah. And y'all,
It's
I don't know what y'all was doing with Marvin Harrison Jr., but
bro. I don't
bro,
know. Like
he was
right off rip,
cooking,
like immediately.
cooking, like
Cooked.
first play cooking.
Yep.
I was just like, wait a minute, y'all ain't.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know what happened there, but the
I don't
secondary
know.
was
Off
not
secondary
playing
was
well
bad.
against him. He was killing, and
Offense
y'all made Kyler Murray look. Kyler Murray was looking great out
great.
there. Like,
I look. The only bright thing that I've seen so far, like when we played Detroit, yes, we fought, and we I mean we very realistically could have won that game, right?
mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
that was a game we were in. I mean that came down to overtime and both teams really being just gassed.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but week 2 was just straight up no fight, and the only bright thing that I've got for it is Jared Verse was a really good pick. That's all I've seen is Jared Verse is a
Yeah,
really good
yeah.
pick. Other than that, I've seen nothing that I'm excited about. Like nothing besides him being a good pick. Obviously,
I mean, if y'all ain't
the
had
def-
that many injuries, it wouldn't be this bad. But
but you know what?
that defense, I don't know.
This
That secondary.
this goes to show. Let me tell you this, and if you go back and look at it, this goes to show how important Aaron Donald is. And
Mm-hmm. Oh
I'm
yeah.
gonna tell you why. Because he required you to scheme to block him,
Yeah.
and with teams not having to worry about that, did you see how much time Kyler Murray had?
Did you remember what I said when we first started talking about it in the beginning of the year? Aaron
Yeah,
Donald, him being gone, I was kind of on the fence with. I mean,
yeah.
there
He
is no replacing
like
somebody like that. There is
Kyler
none.
Murray has been like he never felt that comfortable playing us
Mm-mm.
in
Mm-mm.
his career because Aaron
No.
Donald was already there. Not
Yeah.
ever has Kyler Murray felt that comfortable playing against us. The time
Yeah.
that he had in the pocket, not
He was
having to
he was able to
he
cook.
he was
Yeah.
able to cook. And
Yeah.
he ain't never had the opportunity to do that till this year because Aaron Donald ain't back there.
Yeah.
And
And
so
that was my biggest
so
question mark was just your
so this
defense
is what
without Aaron
happens.
Donald.
Other teams see that. Other
Yeah.
teams are like, oh, we ain't got to scheme block nobody. We ain't got to. They don't have that. Aaron Donald's gone.
Yeah.
We can man up 1-to-1. We can chip all of that,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yep.
And so I say, look, I text you and I said let's put a wrap on it this year.
Yeah, you did. You did
I
say the
text you. I
season.
said let's put it a wrap. And then when I saw the injury report and I heard McVay said likely Cooper Cup's on IR, I said we'll wrap this thing up, man.
Mm,
Let
yeah,
let
I was
these
gonna
young
get that
players
pick. Yeah, gonna play your young stars.
play. Get ready to draft a quarterback in the first round. Um, yeah, like start scouting them now.
Yeah,
And look, I hate to write my team off because people are going to be like, if they start playing well or have some magical thing where they get on track and like barely make the playoffs, people are going to be like, you ain't a real fan, dude. a lot of the fans that I see on Twitter are like new fans, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the fans, I see them, like I see some of these, and they're granted they're young. They're like, oh, I've been a fan since like 2005, or I'm like, dude, I was, you know what I mean? I was,
Yeah,
yeah,
grew up.
like,
Yeah,
yeah,
you literally grew up a
like this
Rams
been,
fan.
yeah, this been a thing. You know what I mean? Like I've been a Rams fan. Well,
L.A., St. Louis,
yeah,
back to L.A.
while y'all parents, yeah, while y'all parents was kids, I was a
Hmm.
Rams fan type thing. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, man. I mean, I just I'm I hate to in week two say it's a dud, but also like it realistically on paper it's looking that way.
Yeah,
Just
but
just
this is,
saying.
but we already know this is they play the game.
They play the game.
There's
You gotta play the
always
game.
somebody that pops up that ends up becoming something.
That's true.
There's always somebody because, like they say, next man up. It's got to be the
Next
next
man
man
up.
up. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? There's just got to be.
Yeah.
Like you look at the 49ers when people seen the first game without CMC.
Yeah. Yeah, you saw. Yeah.
Then
Yep.
you're just like,
Hmm.
hey, then you could a lot of people. I seen a lot of people picking the Jets to win that game.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then we got Mason back there, and he showed it's a next
He
man
should
up game. You know what I'm
next
saying?
man up.
It's
Yeah, because
always next man
he went
up.
out there and did his thing.
Yeah,
He
it's
handled
always next man
business.
up. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always the next man up. So they're gonna have to show those youngsters now that they get if McVay does start playing, which he's gonna end up having to.
Yeah.
You get a chance to see what they really gonna be like, and now they're gonna get a chance to. Oh, this is my time to shine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So even the team that is plagued with injuries can still be dangerous. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Doesn't mean that
Absolutely.
y'all might not go to the playoffs, but y'all could be a spoiler to somebody. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it's just but getting a young like last year when y'all was starting out, without Cooper Cup, y'all ended up
Who did?
finding your receivers. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? New people. It's always
Hmm.
somebody that can step up and play that role, and y'all did really good without them
Right.
without Cup for a while. Then he comes back and y'all rolled into the
Yeah. Yeah.
playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it looks bad on paper, but you never know what you really got until people get on that field. Now y'all play us
Yeah.
this week, but
I know it. I know it.
caveat
Yeah.
to it is we don't have Debo. He's out for 2 weeks.
Yeah. He's
Calf.
out.
We out, and I don't think CMC's coming back yet.
He won't be back
So
yet.
we
Yeah.
losing two big weapons on offense. So you get games like that to where the other team is beat up. So we
Right.
done lost. We kind of got a couple of banged up people in core positions, you
Yeah.
know. So you never know how the games go. That's why I love watching sports because sports is always going to be next man up. You don't
Yeah.
know how it's really going to go. You can
Right.
assume like how we just talked about on paper.
Hmm.
Yeah, like we thought Minnesota. I'm thinking Minnesota ain't even about to touch us. Sam
Yeah.
Donald, what?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
about to
Yeah.
crush. And Sam Donald whooped us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Went out in there. Now, speaking of Sam Donald, I want to. Speaking of Sam Donald, right?
hmm
Obviously, we see that he does have a little bit of talent, right?
hmm
Is is Carolina out here like killing people careers?
bro, Carolina.
Man, because that's an organization thing, bro.
I don't know what Carolina was doing. I didn't know what they were doing in the off season. They never fixed their main problem, which is getting
Which was
that
the
boy
offensive
some
line.
a line to
Yeah.
block for him. First of all, it should start always. That should be the first building block to any team. Should be
We
the
talked
line.
about it. You
Yes.
you we had a whole segment about if you don't have the offensive line, it doesn't work.
Yes, and people see it. This is
Yeah.
not a joke. Me and you, we watch football our whole lives.
Lives.
I may
Yep.
not have played it in high school or anything like that, or never played it in my life, but analyzing and watching the game,
Yeah.
you know
You need an
what's the
offensive
most
line,
core.
man.
You got to have an offensive line. You got to have it. If you don't
Yeah.
have it, you don't have an offense. It
Yeah.
does not matter. And
All I've ever played was right guard and center. When I
so
played, it was right guard and
yeah,
center.
and if the offensive line can't do their job, your
Yeah,
quarterback is
he ain't
never
got
going to be
nothing.
able to do his job. So
Yep.
what they got out there, of course, they're going to put the blame on that on Young, but it ain't his fault if
It ain't
he's
his
running for
fault,
his dear
man.
life.
I
Now I will say he has made
his
bad decisions
he has
and he has
and
not looked sharp throwing the ball.
he's slow
But
through. I will say he is kind of slow through his progressions,
hmm
but also
but
I
they
feel
void of
like
talent.
part. I don't feel like that's completely his fault because I feel like he's like I only have so many
Oh
seconds,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
like I'm scared, right? Like
yeah.
I'm gonna get hit. Like
But the thing about it is you got to try to find a way to adapt. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like there is
yeah.
other ways for you to be able to adapt. He's not a
I don't.
slow quarterback, so he can run. He
Yeah,
can run the
I don't.
football. You just
I
got to
don't feel
learn.
like you could. I don't feel like any quarterback could really do anything with this team though. There's like no.
Nah,
There's nothing.
not
There
really.
not. There's nothing you can do as a
No, because they don't really have anything. They don't. They didn't
like.
give. Like I said, starts with the line. They don't have a line.
Mm-hmm. You
You
know.
don't really have any skill receivers. You don't have a skill player. I mean, Hubbard's a decent running back, but he ain't
Yeah.
gonna do nothing because they ain't got no line. So there it
Line.
goes.
Yeah.
Go back to the O
Mm-hmm.
line again. So
Yeah.
because they don't have an O line, they're gonna be in what they're gonna
And
do.
that.
And
And now
he's
they're gonna
young,
start
so
Andy Dalton.
yeah,
Now they.
he's young.
I don't think
Now
that's not gonna
I
make a
will.
difference.
Well, here's where the difference can come because Dalton is seasoned. He's a veteran quarterback, so that's the other thing I was gonna say. Young is still trying to learn systems, learn how
Yeah.
to adapt to the NFL on a certain level. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to adapt from college to NFL. He only has one season under his belt. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So you're not really getting accustomed with somebody like Andy Dalton, who has been in the league. He's been
Mm-hmm.
on good teams. He's been
Multiple
on bad
teams, good
teams.
teams.
You
Yeah.
know, he knows the speed of the game.
Mm-hmm.
He can utilize his. I feel like he's going to probably be able to utilize his receivers better, get it out quicker, make faster reads of the defense. Things like that that a veteran quarterback should be able to do over a rookie.
Right.
You go through your progressions quicker. You're able to read defenses better because you've been young, still getting adapted to the NFL defenses, which is a lot
Yeah.
quicker, faster than what he's ever done
This
dealt
is
with
this is
before.
this is his second year, right?
hmm
So I feel like
18 games in. Actually, ain't
yeah,
even 18 because didn't he get injured last year at some point?
yeah, he did, yeah, or something. So like here's the thing, right? When you look at historically, quarterbacks would sit, right?
hmm
I think Green Bay found the perfect formula because their quarterbacks they draft them and they sit like for a couple years.
Well, Green Bay also had the luxury to have Hall of Fame quarterbacks that lasted
This is true.
longer for
This is
them to
true.
be able to sit. Like you look at Carolina, they ain't have nobody there that was already ahead of Young. There wasn't nobody there. Cam Newton, he was the shell of himself when he came
Yeah,
back to them. Everybody else they had, you can't even really name the quarterbacks that they had prior to Young. Really, I think
yeah.
they had. I can't think of the dude's name. It was one of the black boys that they had. I can't think of his name no more. He,
Um,
I can't remember
I
him,
can't. I
but
can't. Yeah, but
they
I
had
mean,
a they never had somebody to put in front of them. Now, like last year, it was just Young. Now you pick
yeah.
up Andy Dalton or whatever. You could have typically started Dalton and
Yeah.
say, okay, well, we're gonna reset. We're gonna start Dalton, see what he does. Let Young learn the game from
Mm-hmm.
him, and then we could throw Young in week 3, week 4, week 5. Of course,
Right.
you're gonna always get, it
Yeah.
ain't, who cares that he's a number one pick and you
You
put him on the bench and you hide him so he can learn the game.
you
That's
have
the
to
whole
get you
point.
got to
You
get them
got to,
protection though.
yeah, you got to protect him, but you
Yeah.
also got to learn, you got to protect him and you got to develop. He
Oh
cannot
yeah,
develop.
that's part of it too.
Yeah,
That's
he
part of the
cannot
development.
develop when he's out there running like a chicken with his head cut off, and he
Very
doesn't
very
have
true.
time to read the defenses.
Yeah.
He don't have time back there.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like even when you get veteran offensive linemen, they can read the defense for you. They know
Yeah.
the scheme blocks and things like that. That's what they were talking
Mm-hmm.
about with Jason Kelsey and what he was doing with Hurts. He could read what Hurts probably wasn't able to read when he was back there.
Reed. Yeah.
So he's calling out these things, picking out the mic and all
The
this stuff, and he's
all of
calling
that. Yeah.
things out, helping the quarterback. It all
Right.
works together. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think Dalton. I think what they're finally smart in doing that. In as far as benching him now, I I don't like how the media wants to present it as if they're benching him. The benching is a bad thing, a bad look, or they trying to like, oh, he's a bust. I don't think he's
Yeah.
a bust.
I
I
don't think
think
he's a
he's just
bust.
on a bad team and he
Team
needs time to be
that
able to
that hasn't
learn.
done anything to help
Yeah,
him. Yeah.
yeah. So
It
he
has.
needs to learn. So I think Andy Dalton is probably a good starter for right now. Let him
Yeah.
learn for a couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? See how it goes. It's going to be a rocky road for them boys no matter what. I don't care who is the quarterback back there. It's about to be real rocky. Dalton probably will score a couple more touchdowns or something for him because
Yeah.
just the veteran presence, the veteran mindset is a little
Yeah.
different. But I think it's a good move for them to try to reset the process for him and let him develop a little bit more. That's the
Uh,
same thing with Justin Fields because Justin Fields
yeah.
didn't have nobody.
The best thing that ever happened to Justin Fields
Yep, is
was him
being in
going to
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Because Mike Tomlin, I work with a guy and he's a huge Steelers fan. He Steelers and lanyard, wears Steelers shirts and all that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we talked about it today, and I said it was the best thing for him because Mike Tomlin knows how to get the best out of people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and not only that, Mike Tomlin has a certain level of patience to a certain extent
Yep.
with working with people. And
Yep.
I think what has happened is he's made Justin Fields
He's,
comfortable.
yep.
And what was going on in Chicago was obviously look because to me watching Caleb Williams, I haven't seen anything. Like I see
Mm-hmm.
another
Justin
quarterback
Fields.
that's just saying a bingo. I see
Mm-hmm.
another Justin Fields.
Yep.
At what point do we stop blaming the quarterbacks because we know that Justin Fields can win your games, like
Yeah,
not
we've seen
necessarily
it.
win them, but he can manage where you don't lose, right?
Yeah.
And we've watched it the first
Well,
two
we see.
weeks.
We've also seen them win in Chicago when they did.
Yeah,
It is usually at the end of the year they start finding some
find
kind of rhythm, and
right,
then they start clicking.
right,
But like you said, that is definitely a organizational problem down
right.
in like in Chicago because Williams looked terrible
Yeah,
the other day.
I don't see it. I don't
If
I
it
like
wasn't
I,
now
even
one
in
thing,
game one against Tennessee.
yeah,
If it
yeah,
wasn't for the defense, you lose that
exactly.
game. The
And
defense won that game.
just like against what you call it the other day, it was the defense that kept them in the game.
Yep, against the
But
Texans. The
like I see,
defense,
yeah, but there was
yeah,
bad decision making, like the one where he broke the sack and then he just kind of just threw it downfield. He
yeah.
threw it
Oh
past
yeah,
it.
that one.
He
Yep,
he
and
threw the
just yep,
deeper route when the dude underneath should have been the better candidate for
better.
that.
Yep.
He was open. You wouldn't
Was
have threw
open.
that pick if he threw it underneath.
Mm-hmm.
Now he was probably 8 yards shorter than the other route, but he would have never threw a bad ball that way. It's
Yeah.
just like so I'm not seeing anything from Caleb Williams either. I'm not
Right.
seeing I'm not seeing any changes between that team. They got more weapons
Mm-hmm.
offensively, and defense
Offensively,
definitely has been
the
stepping up.
defense, the defense is doing their thing. The
Mm-hmm.
defense is doing their thing, but I don't like Caleb Williams haven't hasn't shown me anything, and to me that is who's developing him, right? Because we
Nobody.
obviously Chicago is not able to develop quarterbacks. Like
Mm-hmm.
no matter who it is, like something's going on where they're not developing quarterbacks.
That's because they oftentimes start young rookies.
Yeah,
They're always looking for the next quarterback instead of
it's
being able to take somebody and like every quarterback you've seen them utilize, it's always like they done drafted them and they kind of start early, and
am
it's
I
just like
am I right? Let me see if I'm right or wrong. The last quarterback that I saw that wasn't actually great, but could win them Rex Grossman.
yep, he's the
Rex
one that went to the
Grossman,
Super
right?
Bowl with.
Yeah, Rex Grossman.
I
All right,
believe they
so
went to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman as the quarterback.
I'm pretty sure it was Rex Grossman, right? So like
He was really the
that's
last one that was he was okay. I ain't
That's
gonna sit here
been
and say he was great or anything
15.
like that.
Yeah,
It's
that's
been
been
some
15
years.
years, right?
Yeah, because
And
Trubisky didn't work out.
Trubisky, yeah, exactly. So
Justin
like,
Fields could have, but they don't have no. They didn't have a way to develop him. So
and I don't even
there's
think it
that.
was so much development part with Justin Fields. I think it was just like when you're switching these coordinators so often, and he already didn't have any weapons to
Yeah,
work with.
but you
What do you
can't.
want him to do?
But you also can't. You can't develop if you are constantly changing the way your team plays. Like if you're
Yeah,
changing head
coordinators every
coaches and
year,
coordinators, you can't develop somebody. That's
right?
just like you go in to get a job, they train you on this system, then the next week you come back in, they got a whole new
They have a
system
new
and training
system.
you on something different, and then every week you come in, you got a whole different new thing to learn. Every single
Yeah,
time you got something they scrapping the old, you're learning something new. How are you
yeah,
supposed to succeed? Like,
yeah.
okay, I just was
Yeah, you
getting
want me to
used
get
to
the numbers
this.
up, but yeah,
Yeah, but I was just getting used to this, but now you got something else in place. Now you
yeah,
want me to work on this, but you still want me to keep the same productivity.
yeah.
How? Like,
How? Yeah,
so yeah, that's what his problem was. They never could keep a staff for him to really learn. And that's what seemingly is probably going to be Young's downfall in Carolina
downfall. Yeah,
because they have nothing solid there to for him to grasp on.
yeah,
So yeah, it's just
yeah,
bad there. It's
yeah.
just bad.
It is, and so we're seeing that with Chicago. We're seeing that with Carolina.
Hmm.
Um, and t- talking about Fields and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is such a well coached team,
Yeah.
right? Regardless of what they have, they're such a well coached team, and
Yes,
I
they
think
are.
I think that applies. There's a couple teams that I feel like that applies to in the league where maybe the talent ain't what we think it is, but those coaches are able to bring the best out, and I see that with Tampa. I see that going
Yeah,
on with Tampa. Now, they have Mike Evans, and I don't give a
and Godwin.
damn. And Godwin, I don't give a
Hmm.
damn. Them are two. They ain't the household names that people talk about,
Even
and
though
and
they
as
should be.
receivers, as receivers. But
Yeah.
damn it, both of them are really good.
Yes,
And
very good. Mike
and
Evans is Hall of Fame material.
yeah, absolutely.
He
And
is Hall
and
of Fame material.
I watch them play. I
Hmm.
like what I'm seeing from them.
Yeah.
Look, Tampa Bay is really good because they went out there and I'm not gonna I'm they went out there and beat a what I would call a good Detroit team.
That it was. They are.
Yeah, yeah.
They are.
They
They
beat a
actually went out there.
good.
They were very
They
physical
beat.
with them. They it they just came out and played a game, and
Right.
and Baker Mayfield has been in his bag. So
Well, what I'm seeing from Tampa, what I'm seeing from Pittsburgh, what I'm seeing from New Orleans is yeah. What I'm seeing is part of it is coaching, but part of it is balanced on both sides of the ball.
yeah,
Balanced on both sides of the
yep,
ball, right?
yep.
If
They
if
learning.
if 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 you looked at that game, if you looked at that game, the Saints and the Cowboys, right?
That was a game.
Now, man, look here. When I saw that, when I saw that score, because I kept going to the game, I kept checking it out, and I was like, man, look, the
But
Saints, I was wrong about them.
bruh,
Look,
you,
I admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong about
you,
Minnesota. I was wrong
yeah,
about New Orleans. I was
yeah,
wrong.
yeah,
Period.
definitely. We both was wrong about New
We was
Orleans.
both yeah.
Definitely,
Um,
definitely. But I
I
will
wanted
tell
to
you right
say
now, there's a formula to beat the Cowboys.
what's the
The strict formula. Run the football.
I
If
don't
you can run the football, you are going to kill Dallas.
Dallas
That's been their
Dallas
kryptonite.
Dallas has two big problems. Dallas has two big problems. They cannot stop the run,
Yep,
and they cannot run the ball.
yep.
Those
The
are
running
those are
game.
the yep,
Yep.
the run game, right? Like, and it's ironic because we always talk about how That's not important,
Yeah, we don't
right?
need running
Running,
backs, right? We don't
you
need a
don't need
running
running
back.
back. They're not
We don't need them.
important, right? It's a it's a passing league,
Yeah.
right? But what do we see? That they can't stop the run. It's an issue for them. They
Mm-hmm.
can't run the ball. It's an issue for them.
Yep.
Go figure, right?
Both of them.
In a
Both of
passing league.
them. Yep.
So looking at that going forward, teams knowing that, I still think with the division, they're a playoff team, but they don't go any further than that.
No,
They
that's
don't go
it.
any further than
That's
that.
it. They
They
first round
that's
exit
what they've
again.
been. First round exit again.
Yeah. Because
But
I mean, I just honestly, they've always been exposed to that. They've like it's one thing. Okay, so put it this way: it's one thing to have speed, which they have. Dallas has
mm-hmm.
speed across the board on
Yeah,
defense. They're
they
fast
do.
defensively.
They're fast.
You know what I'm saying? Like their linemen, their defensive line. You know, Michael Parsons and all them boys. Them boys is quick. They're
Defensive
very
backs,
very
yeah.
fast. Their defensive backs is fast.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can scheme a couple of people, like find ways to block, like neutralize Michael Parsons and
Mm-hmm.
DeMarcus Lawrence
Mm-hmm.
by running,
That's it.
because that's all they did. They ran the
Yeah.
ball against him, and then they were able to chip block Parsons,
Yeah.
one on one chip block him, and give a little extra protection for Carr, and Carr carved them up.
Yeah.
Me, if they can't get pressure on you, they
It's,
are going to
they,
fall.
yeah.
If they
Like
can't stop the run, they can't get pressure, that team is going to lose. And then, of course, offensively, like most teams, if you can't run the football, you're one dimensional, you're
you're
going to
one
lose.
dimensional.
You're
Well,
more than likely to lose.
that and so excuse me. And so when you look at that, like I'm thinking to myself as a fan of the game, I'm thinking to myself, I'm looking at the teams that are 2-0 are just well balanced team. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Even I have not had a chance to watch the Chargers yet, but I've seen highlights, and I'm like, okay, Harbaugh, he's on to something there. He's got something working there. Next Sunday, I'll be watching them a lot. I'm gonna keep an
You
eye
know,
on them next Sunday.
the only real any test they had was the Raiders, because I mean everybody could walk against Carolina right now. So
Well, yeah. But something.
I need a
Fair
little.
enough.
I need to see some
You're
more
not ready.
competition too.
That's why I'm gonna
You know
watch
what I'm
them on
saying? I need some
Sunday.
more competition there.
But like even like Seattle, right?
Yeah, it looks solid.
Yeah, they look solid, balanced on both sides of the ball. Like
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Houston balanced on both
Mm-hmm.
sides of the ball. Like I'm looking at these 2-0 teams, and I'm like, all of them seem to have the balance on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
We had talked about the Thursday night game. We had talked about it last week when we talked about Miami being like they're just fast, but like what
Yeah.
else? These hard teams, we don't see
Yeah.
anything,
And you
right?
see what happened to
And
them against
yeah,
Buffalo.
you spot on, right? You were spot on with it, right? Um, but but I with Tua, right? He's
He, uh,
yeah, I,
about that, he needs, first of all, if you want to continue to play in this league, you better learn how to slide.
you gotta learn that. There we go. So here's my
Especially
thing.
if you are a
He hasn't
quarterback
even
that is,
figured that out yet. He has
if you are a quarterback prone to concussions, which he has been the
learned
last
to
few
slide.
years, he's been getting these bad concussions.
Yeah,
Learn to slide. Learn to
learn to
slide.
slide.
All you got to do is slide. You
Just
should
gotta learn to
know that
slide.
by now. You've been in the
Yeah,
league long enough to know, and especially if you keep getting concussions. My thought process is, let me learn how to slide.
yeah.
Give
Well,
up.
well, he
Just
made
give up.
prior to that happening, he made some poor decisions from what I saw in the game. Right, like
Mm-hmm.
there were some things, and I'm like, by now he should know how to do this, but we see he hasn't even learned how to slide yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Miami has a lot of talent on the team. Is it fair to say the only thing keeping them back is Tua?
Mm-hmm.
Am I reaching? Is that too? Is I
Mm,
I feel like because I feel like Tua only knows how to throw the big play, like, and that's a lot of time. Like
yeah, yeah, he
if you go
kind of
back and look at last season,
yeah.
if I have Tyreek Hill, here's the biggest thing: when Tyreek Hill was in Kansas City, right?
Hmm.
Yes, there was big plays, but Patrick Mahomes is also a really, really good quarterback, and it didn't always have to be about the big play.
Yeah,
Versus with Miami, look at the games they won. It was so many big plays. Like it
that's
was
speed.
always
Yeah.
big plays from the speed that they had. And I'm wondering, I'm like,
Well,
hmm,
like I said, I think I even texted you about that. Was like Tua to me is an average to good quarterback.
yeah, you did text
Take
me about
away
that.
his speed, he's average to me.
Yeah,
He's literally average. So can they win? Can you win with the average quarterback? Yeah, we've seen it happen. But you also got to have the defense for it. That's why I'm kind of hesitant because Miami doesn't have defense either. They
well,
don't
yeah,
have a
because
good defense.
their
Jalen
secondary has been
Ramsey,
getting
who
so
supposedly is the best
torched,
cornerback in the league, he's been getting
torched,
picked on, bro. Like
Well,
really?
I text you that. I text you that.
Yeah, you did. Like,
Yeah, I was like,
like,
yo, he out to get cooked right now.
where's the fear at? You know what I'm saying? Ain't
Yeah,
nobody fearing him. Jacksonville was
yeah.
throwing it at him. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
picking
yeah,
on the
yeah.
man,
Ain't that? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's just like, wow. Yeah,
Well,
coincidentally, didn't he come from Jacksonville? Didn't he get his name
yes,
in Jacksonville?
yes,
And they come in and
yes.
they picking on you.
Yeah,
That's crazy work.
yeah. That's
That's
yeah,
crazy
yeah,
work. The team
yeah.
that you left is picking on you.
Well, yeah,
Crazy, bro.
and
They
that I
don't
guess
have a
that's
defense. They
they
don't
don't have a
have a they
defense.
don't have a
It
defense.
that's
So
valid. That's valid.
defensively, no.
That's the
Offensively,
Achilles heel.
he is the liability offensively.
Okay.
I will say that because he got some good running backs. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they're pretty good running backs. He got H.N. is good. Moster, he's a good running back.
Good
Wilson
running
Jr.
back.
They're good running backs. That, of
Mm-hmm.
course, they're speed. They're speedy. They have a speedy offense. The
Yeah.
problem is with the speedy offense, like I told you, all you got to do is shell the mugs, keep everything in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Then what you got? Take away the big
Yeah.
play. They got to try to go down and grind it out. They're not built for
Yeah.
that.
They're
They're
not
not
built.
built
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Tua just doesn't. He doesn't always make the best decisions. I wish him the best. I don't want to see the man's career get ended because of concussions and stuff.
Yeah.
But at this moment in
If
time, it's
if I'm
kind
a
of almost
family,
like,
if I'm a family member, I'm telling them to retire.
yeah, it's almost like
If I'm a
you
family
might
member,
have to go ahead and put that up, bro. These are
mm-hmm.
getting they're bad too. They're not like
they're,
sometimes you go person comes back in the game or the person they get out the tent, he might got a concussion. They got to
yeah.
go through the protocol.
No, these are
No, but
clear.
his is clear and he's like literally laying there.
Yeah.
It's like no,
Stuck.
it's time for you to go ahead and think about hanging it up. You know you're
Yeah.
young, but because you're young, man, hang up them cleats, bro.
Hang up
You
them
already got
cleats. Yeah,
paid.
man.
Just go
Yeah.
ahead and hang up them cleats. And
Yeah.
I
Take that
hate to say that.
guaranteed money.
I hate to say that for somebody as young as he is. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I would, you hope they have a good career in the NFL, but at
Yeah.
some point in time, you need to
Think
think
about the
about your
long term
health.
for your
Yep,
kids and
yep.
your wife.
And
Yeah.
concussions is nothing to play with. There's
At
nothing to
all.
play with.
At all.
So yeah, unfortunately, I think he is the weakest link to that offense because his decision making is just not there.
Mm-hmm.
He has the potential to be good, but yeah, it's just he's too he's protected with well speedy receivers, so
Yeah.
it makes him look real good when he hits the
Good.
big play.
Right.
But other than that, we seen just like how we saw in Buffalo, they took it away, took the big plays
Yeah.
away,
Snatched
and
it.
they can't do nothing. They only scored
Right.
what 10 points that game.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we've seen it when they play top tier teams
They can't win.
that come with some type of defense.
Defense.
They
Yep.
they have not shown that they can beat them.
Yeah. Now, going on from them, I do want to talk about this Raiders and Ravens game. Immediately after that game, I had to make a trip to the store real quick,
Hmm.
and I was listening to NFL radio, and like I heard an analyst completely blame Lamar Jackson. I mean, just straight up was like, "Yeah, Lamar Jackson is not that great. He can't win in this league." And I thought to myself, I'm like,
Okay,
I'm looking at not only he's the leading rusher right now. All right, he's the leading rusher. Um, his QB rating average right now is like 84, which is, you know what
that's
I
pretty
mean?
solid.
That's pretty
That's
solid.
pretty good. Yeah.
Um, are we going to talk about the Ravens defense at all?
Apparently not, because
Are we going to?
Devontae Adams was cooking them boys.
Yeah. Okay. So exactly. That's my point. We just gonna blame Lamar Jackson for the defense,
It's easy to blame the quarterback for them not winning a
but
game. It's
here's
too
my
easy, but
issue.
that is not the problem. That was not the problem in that
That's
game.
that's my issue. It's like y'all as analysts get paid to. This is what y'all get paid to talk about. This is what you get paid to study.
Hmm.
You like we're fans. We don't get nothing for this. You know,
Yeah.
like nothing. We do this because we love to do it. And
Yeah, exactly.
when I listen to that, it's frustrating to immediately hear an analyst say blame it on Lamar Jackson. And like not like literally, he's going on about Lamar Jackson not being a winner and can't win big games and all of that. And I'm like, okay, so you did you watch the game? Because the game that I was seeing was that defense was having issues.
Barbecue chicken.
And also my big problem is Harbaugh, I don't know what you need to do or whatever, but you see that back you got back there?
Oh,
When have you known him to do toss routes and stuff like that? He ain't a, he
not
don't
never.
that
Very
ain't his
rarely.
thing.
They very
You
rarely
gotta
did that in Tennessee.
you gotta give him the ball up the middle.
What's
All
even
right, so
killing me though, not to cut you off real quick, but what's killing me though is if you watch them run the football last year, they didn't do a whole bunch of toss and sweeps. When
yeah,
they had
they
Hill
did.
and Dobbins, and it wasn't a lot of toss
But
and sweeps. It was
but why
straight
are
right
they
up the
trying to
field.
do it with why are they trying to
I
do it with Derrick
don't,
Henry?
I don't know, bro. I don't
That's why I'm
know.
confused.
I don't know why he ain't touching the ball 20 times.
Times up, dive.
Why is he not touching it 20 times? Power, halfback power,
Power.
dive, do
Yeah,
something. Give him the ball.
give him the ball. That's where he thrives at. Uphill runner.
Yeah,
Uphill
literally,
runner. That's
literally.
literally what he is. Uphill runner.
You might get him on a
That's the
sweep every
run
now
plays
and
he
then.
should
You
be.
know what I'm saying? Yeah, you might
That's
get him on a sweep every now and then,
every
but
now and then. But the
he
way
needs to go from point A to B. He
yeah,
ain't trying to go to point A
it's
to Z then back to A. No, give him the ball so he can go
it's
take it right up them tackles.
yeah. So there's an issue there, and clearly there's an issue for the Ravens defense.
Yeah, the
And
defense is really the defense
it's
is really really disappointing them right now.
yeah, yeah.
That's
I
just the way to put it. Like when you watch Kansas City pretty much was moving the ball.
yeah,
However, they really wanted to move it on it. They
yeah,
just they just wasn't capitalizing on it. The defense was able to cause some mistakes and stuff like that, or players
right.
just dropped the ball.
Mm-hmm.
We seen Kansas City had that problem. Then you look at Sunday, Lamar Jackson did everything he could to win the game. They could have won the
Yeah,
game, but when
yeah,
you are constantly okay, I can move the ball and yeah, you could blame some of it. I mean, he's going to take some of the blame because if your offense ain't scoring, which it ain't all his fault,
yeah,
um, bad play calls,
yeah.
not running that to that bell cow that you got in the backfield.
Backfield, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So you ain't doing what you're supposed to do there, but offensively they're fine.
yeah.
They do
I
enough to
think so.
really want to be able to win the games. Just
Their
defense, they can't
defense,
stop them. The team from winning. The Raiders should have never been in that game. They were
yeah,
actually down and they came back to win.
back,
That's
yeah,
not Lamar Jackson.
yeah,
That's
at
a
all.
defensive issue.
Yeah, yeah,
So you're right. You're right. It's
yeah.
that defense is failing.
It's the yeah. I you know, I you had mentioned Kansas City, and that was week one. Um, I don't know if you watched any of the Kansas City Cincinnati game.
I
Cincinnati
watched
should
more of the end of the game. Yeah.
Cincinnati should have won that game.
They should have.
Um,
They had it.
um,
They did everything possible. A couple of mistakes here
yeah,
that cost them that
I
game.
I don't know about that pass interference call at the end to help
I
Kansas
guess
City
by
out.
the letter of the law, it is.
It was
But
a
at the
decided. It
same
was a.
time, they both were going for the
They're
ball.
both going for the ball exactly. Like if I'm looking up and I'm
Yeah,
jumping for the ball, I
yeah.
literally I can't see
You know what I'm
what's
saying? So that's the problem I had with it because he literally jumped to go for the ball.
ball, and he's
It
looking
wasn't
up
like
at the ball.
yeah, it wasn't like you get pass interference where a guy's not even paying attention to the ball and he just runs right into the receiver.
Yeah.
Like the cornerback might run into the receiver because he didn't
Hmm.
throw his hands up, like this, and the receiver's the only one going for the ball. The guy's just blocking him and run right into him.
Yeah.
That's a pass interference. But
Yeah.
when you got two people going for a jump ball, because I can guarantee you, and this is real, what if that was a Hail Mary into the end zone and it was four or five guys in
They
the end
wouldn't call
zone,
nothing.
all of them jumping up in the air for it?
Mhm. They're all gonna make contact, and
They're gonna make
ain't
contact. Y'all ain't gonna never call that whistle. You're never gonna call
right.
pass
Yeah.
interference. I've never seen a
Yeah.
pass interference called on a jump ball in the end zone, and it's
Nope.
everybody jumping. So you mean to tell me there's no contact there where everybody's going for the football? But
Yeah.
now in this situation, he gets the call. I don't
Yeah.
like Kansas City, man.
Yeah. I don't. That's what
It's starting to get. It's
Yeah.
starting to get. It's
I'm finna title this episode. I don't like
bruh,
Kansas City.
it's starting to get Tom Brady-ish right now when it comes to Mahomes,
Right.
bro. Like
Okay.
it's
So
starting to get
yeah,
Tom Brady-ish because
it
he's the
is.
only other one that I
That
knew that
gets so
used to
many
get
favorable.
calls
Yeah.
at the end of a game in
Hmm.
clutch time situations on fourth downs, and the game is about to be over with if they don't get it.
Yeah.
The first Super Bowl, well, not say first Super Bowl, but the first time Patrick Mahomes had a chance to beat Tom Brady, that
Yeah.
game,
Yeah.
old boy got called for a penalty.
Penalty. Yep.
So it's just like you giving this boy the Brady treatment right now.
Yeah.
So it's almost like y'all spoon feeding him for to be great. Like
Hmm.
every time. Like is it only Kansas City that is
Yeah.
perfect throughout the whole time? Like they don't
Yeah.
get no penalties in clutch situations, but the other team do.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
perfectly played. That was a perfectly played ball by that man. He shouldn't have been that penalty shouldn't have been thrown to me. That's just to me,
Yeah.
my opinion. They should have let him
I
play
my
because
my I agree
I could
1,000%.
I could have understood if the man didn't even try to go for the football
Well, he
or he
did.
tugged on his body or he literally did like a little jumping into him like literally like blatant
Yeah.
to where you could see him bumping him and
Right.
then trying to go for the but he was literally trying to go for the ball and
Yeah.
they just gave him that game, man.
Here's the other thing, man. While we're talking about like Brady treatment and all of that, um, obviously, obviously, we know that certain teams are going to get certain calls, certain players are going to get certain
Hmm.
calls. That's just the way the league works. But
This ain't the
uh,
NBA.
yeah, but it's not. But we're
Yeah, I know it.
it is a
I
good
know
old
it.
boy league though.
I
Like, and
know
I
it.
don't. I mean that in a sense of the powers that be have some control over certain things. I'm not saying games are rigged. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that certain players get favorable calls due
Oh
to
yeah.
who they are and who their
Oh
owner is or
yeah.
whatever. Right? There's things that go on behind closed doors. Right?
Hmm.
And nobody. That's my opinion, and nobody's going to change that. Right?
I mean,
Um,
we know this sports is politics too, but
Oh
let's
yeah,
just digress off of that.
absolutely. If it's not politics, then why they show what's that girl name Taylor Swift? Why they got to show her every damn time? Every time
Here
Kansas
we
City play,
go.
we got to see her several
Yeah,
times. And not only do we got to
yeah,
see her several
yeah.
times, the commentators
They
mention
pointed out
and
every single
they
time.
pointed out and talk about her.
Every
And
time.
why? Because this ain't a concert.
Yeah, yeah.
This is the game, and
Hmm.
I hate to bring it back up. Like it's annoying, and
Yeah, it is.
I have to point out that it's annoying. But back to the politics of the game. Um, like I don't think it's ever gonna go away, but don't they see that sometimes, like, in a sense, you kind of create a villain. You create, like, people. I like Tom Brady outside of the game. I like when he talks football. I like to see him be funny on
Oh,
different
I
podcasts and
definitely
all
like
that.
him outside the game.
I like him outside of the game, right? Inside the game, I don't, because he's almost kind of like a villain
Yeah, I said
because
outside the game because he's retired. I was tired of seeing him on the field,
right.
so I like him outside the
And
game. I don't want to see him on the field no more.
right, exactly. I I I I ain't gonna lie, I kind of had liked Patrick Mahomes, and now
Yeah, he
and
made
now
my
you got
fantasy team look real good the first year.
right,
I
right.
drafted him and nobody else did, and I picked him up on a whim.
Yeah,
I
I
was
kind of
liking
liked
Patrick
him
Mahomes then.
early on. You know
Now I
what I
can't
mean?
stand Patrick
And
Mahomes. He's
now
getting on my nerves.
it's faded. Now you got me saying stuff like on got me on Twitter talking about he do kind of sound like Kermit a little bit too. you know, like I don't want to. I mean, I don't want to be that guy. Like,
Yeah,
what are we in high school? But he do
you know
kind
what
of
I'm
sound like
saying.
Kermit. But
Kind
but
of.
but it's one of those things, man, where I'm like,
It's
let's
just it sucks because it takes away from the passion of the game to me.
yeah
Like
yeah
leave the politics out of it. Like
yeah
let them go out there and play. I want to see like I mean I guess that's just you know guess you could say the old headness in me or
yeah.
whatever. It's just like but you don't like the refs dictating the game. You
No, you
don't.
don't.
Now if it was just if the pass interference was as egregious as the Saints and Rams game.
That I like, and I don't even deny. I don't deny that was a pass interference.
How
I
you don't even know how you ain't call that,
yeah.
but goes back to the point though.
I tell Saints fans all the time that was a pass interference, and they
You,
let us get away with it. Not my fault.
he never should have got away, but something like that egregious,
Yeah,
I can. You're supposed to throw the flag. That's
yeah,
a whole different ball game.
yeah.
But like when you talk about like two dudes going after the ball like that, he got there slightly early. You know how many times have I seen somebody get to the ball slightly early and they don't throw a flag?
Yeah. Like it's about consistency for me.
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem that they've
Right.
always had, special
Because
just
didn't they
consistency.
change the rule? They changed the rule with the tackle, right? Where you
Hmm.
can't do the
The hip
side
drop.
and the hip drop, right?
Hmm.
How did Cooper Cup get hurt? A hip drop tackle. Did they
Yep.
call it? No.
Nope. Nope. Joe Mixon got the same thing.
Right.
Yep. And that took him out of the game for
Same
a
took him
couple
out the
of
game.
for a couple of series. Yeah, Joe
Yep.
Mixon hip
Did
drop.
they call it?
Nope.
No. Right.
But
So
you know what they have called? That well, only certain quarterbacks get this call too. But
whether you roll
the
up on
roughing
the
the
feet,
passers, yeah,
yeah. Where
you know,
you're
yeah.
under their feet, yeah, yeah, yeah. They've called it.
Not even just that. Under the feet. The
Yeah.
whole you land on the quarter like we
Oh yeah.
can't
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
slam them. You gotta
Well,
land on
because
top of them. You can't land on
the
top of them.
quarterbacks are the money guys. Like the
Yeah.
quarterbacks are the face of the league, right?
But
They're the money
but you know
guys.
what though? Only certain quarterbacks truly get that call.
That's true. That's true.
Because
You
there's a
know
lot
what's
of quarterbacks
interesting
that
too?
get if you can
It depends
run,
on what team they play for too.
that's true.
Because I'm gonna tell you what. There was when Jared Goff played for the Rams. I remember there was a play specifically. They were playing Seattle,
Hmm.
and it was the playoffs. And I remember I mean, he hit the hell out of Jared Goff. One of the defenders, boom, hit the hell out of Jared Goff on the
The
helmet. Like,
helmet.
and
Hmm.
yeah, boom, hard.
Yep.
Nothing called. Jared
Not at all.
Goff gets that call now. He gets
Hmm.
that call now. I've seen several times where when he was a Ram, he didn't get that call.
Nope.
Stafford used to get that call when he played for Detroit.
You know who never
He,
gets those calls? If you play for the Raiders, you might as well give it up.
oh
They,
yeah,
they call it. They ain't calling anything for you
yeah,
if you
yeah.
if you
Because
if you play for
historically
the
they were the
Raiders.
dirty team.
You might as well go ahead and
Because
just don't even try it, bro. You ain't getting this call. You
historically they were the dirty team. In the
yeah,
70s and the 80s
you
and
know
the
what I'm
90s,
saying?
they were the dirty team. And
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of that was what's his name that used to play for Bill Romanowski?
Oh yeah, yeah, he was
Yeah,
one of them. He was one of
he
them
was
that
one
played
of
for them.
them. I feel like a lot of that is his fault, man, because he was kind of. But like I mentioned in the last episode, how I felt like Hutchinson did some dirty things,
Yeah,
man, and you
it
know,
does depend. It definitely does depend who you are, who you play for. Like it, you already know, people like Lamar Jackson don't get that call, but
oh
somebody
yeah,
like
no,
Patrick Mahomes, he'll get that call. Now,
he'll get it.
Tom
Yeah,
Brady used to get it all the time.
they
You
well they
couldn't
don't call
sneeze
it
on
for
him.
Allen because Allen's big, so he don't
Yeah,
get those
yeah,
calls.
he don't get those calls
Um,
neither. He ain't gonna
no,
get him. He ain't never gonna get him. He ain't never
he
gonna
ain't
get
gonna
him.
get him.
You might as well go ahead and forget
Dak
that.
gets him depending on who he plays against.
He don't deserve him.
Dak will.
I'm just joking.
Did,
Yeah,
no,
he is. It's 50-50 with him. Um,
it is 50-50. I feel like the little guys get more of the calls than the bigger quarterbacks. Kyler Murray gets a
sometimes,
lot of those
yeah,
calls.
yeah, yeah, he do too. Yeah,
We saw
he
that one
will.
against Buffalo. Yeah,
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 yeah.
he gets he gets
Maybe they just deciding to call it more. Who knows? Whatever. But
yeah, we don't know. Well,
defense is kind of getting hindered on a lot of stages of the game. So yeah,
they are, man, because they don't know what to do. I think that's a big part too, man. Like
it
when you
is.
look at the points, like if I'm like I don't know how to tackle. Like I know how to tackle, but I'm not allowed to
Yeah,
tackle
but you're not allowed to let me do certain things. So yeah,
things, right? I
yeah.
can't like, and now it's about to turn in. I'm just gonna jump in the air and turn, and hopefully my back use my
Yeah,
back to
for
tackle.
real. Like
You
it,
know,
bruh,
what do you do?
it's gonna be a
What do
flag
you do?
football league after a while, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
You know
Because
what I'm saying? Because
pretty
man,
much, you can't sack the quarterback. You can. I mean, but
yeah,
it's
you mean
yeah,
you can, but
yeah.
you gotta be very careful how you hit him. You can't hit him too far below the legs.
Well,
You you gotta roll over on him. You can't
yeah.
slam him to the ground or nothing no
Some of
more.
my issues too. I see some of the tackles right, and the defender gets down to get to hip level to wrap around the hips,
Mm-hmm.
but the offensive player with the ball will get down right,
Mm-hmm.
and then drop his head, and then now the defender is flagged because he was set to make a legal tackle,
But his
but the
helmet, the
offensive
helmet.
play, yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Mm. Yeah,
yeah,
it
and
it
what's
sucks.
even crazier is they go back and look at those plays and they still find the defenders,
That's not
even though
right.
they're they
That's
still
not
find
right.
the defenders.
There's too many bang bang situations because
Yeah,
you're taught to get lower. Whoever the
yeah,
low man wins. That's what they
mm-hmm,
say. Low man
yeah,
wins.
low
But if
man
I'm getting
wins
low and the other man's getting low, my helmet's gonna probably hit
because
his helmet.
if
It's just
if
no.
if I'm if I'm a defender in the league and I'm looking at a player and I'm finna square up, it's bang bang.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's gonna be a collision. I personally like you don't want to think about this, but I'm thinking I know I can't go up high,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't want to end this man's career by taking his knees out. I
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely don't want to do that.
Yeah. For real.
Like,
Like
and you
seriously.
don't really have time to think about it, right? You really don't have time to think about it. But I'm you don't want to take nobody. I mean,
You're not
everybody
trying to
has
hurt nobody like that.
right.
Most of them ain't trying to go out there to be dirty and hurt and
To
take people out.
yeah, I mean, I know Ryan Clark don't you know, hey, Ryan Clark was out there trying to like encourage, bro. Ryan Clark was out there
I
trying
mean,
to
but he
encourage.
played in the time where people were like,
Yeah.
remember
And
Sean Taylor?
really, yeah, like they were out. They were trying to. I mean,
Ray
they
Lewis is trying to hurt
John
boys. Them boys
John
out
Lynch
there
was
trying
out
to
there
hurt
trying to
boys.
end
Yeah,
careers,
they were
right?
trying to
So
hurt
yeah,
boys.
yeah, like they
Your
were
Ronnie
they were
Lotts and
trying.
stuff like that back in the day. They
Ronnie,
was
oh
trying
yeah,
to.
yeah,
They
yeah.
were trying to. If you was
End
breathing,
you.
you
I'm
were.
trying to
If
end
you
you.
was. If you was breathing on the football field after I hit you, I didn't hit you hard enough.
I didn't hit you hard enough. Yeah, yeah. They were no
So
shame,
you know
no
what I'm saying.
shame.
So there was a different. I mean, I understand protecting players. I
Yeah,
also believe that offense needs to be like running backs or
yeah,
any offensive player. If you duck your head and you lead with your helmet to stop, because that's what they
yeah,
do. They do a
That's
lot of
what
their
they
leading
do.
with their helmets too. I
Hmm.
think they
Penalize
should.
them.
Yeah, they should be penalized. If you're going to do it one way, why not do it both
Do
ways?
it both ways. Exactly.
Because it like if I'm gonna truck somebody, I can lower my shoulder and
Hmm.
try to boom, you know what I'm saying, get you like
Right.
that.
Hmm.
But if I'm a running back and I could dip my head and kind of lead, and I'm
Right.
sure of it that they are more able to do that than the defenders. Because defenders, if
Right.
they're leading with the crown of their helmet, that's a flag.
Yeah.
But offense usually gets the benefit of the doubt to
Doubt.
be able to
Yeah.
do certain things. Like you ever seen a like if a defender hand hits a running back's face mask
Yeah.
trying to
It's
tackle,
it's face
it's gonna
mask.
be a face mask. But have you
Hmm.
seen get people
When
get
when
stiff
a
armed
when
and
a running
their
back
hand is right in their
get
face
jammed
mask?
up in the. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and they ain't getting flagged for nothing. They just throwing their hand right in their face mask. So,
Yeah.
you know, I see it from they want the game to be exciting in some
Hmm.
ways. So
Yeah.
they're trying to take away all most of the injuries and the bang bang plays and the big hits.
But we see more injuries now. More like with all the technology and with all the rule changes, we see more injuries now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like we see more injuries now. I
Now
don't
what
know
you don't
why.
see is as many. You don't see as many concussions, which is
That's true.
different.
What's that's
That's
the big thing
different.
they're trying to eliminate. Yeah, that's the
So
big thing they're
that's
trying
a
to
big
eliminate.
thing. Yeah, you mean you can't. It's a physical sport, so it's always going to be. People just play.
Injuries.
I also think people just play with more injuries than they do now, because
Yeah,
back in
I
those
agree.
days, we was watching like in the '90s and stuff. It sounds like basketball, but they played with injuries a lot more during
A
those
lot more.
times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we say that they weren't injured, but they probably really were. They just decided to play because they playing for a check.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Nowadays,
yeah.
they're
Now,
playing because you just love the game.
right.
Nowadays, it's more. I'm not gonna say it's all on the players because I think the players really want to play. I think it's
Yeah,
more just ownership trying to protect their
protecting the
assets.
asset. Yep.
So,
Well, not only owners protecting their asset, but like a lot of these players now are in commercials and all of that.
hmm
And if they're not on the field, then that's you know what I mean. Like
mess up my
there's a
brand.
whole that's it's a whole branding thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, we didn't know what players really like, especially when you look at the '70s and '80s. Yeah, you knew who Mean Joe Green was from a Coca-Cola commercial, right?
hmm
Um, you knew like Jack Youngblood, and you knew certain players, their faces,
hmm
but now with everything, the technology that we have and stuff, we
hmm
know how all the players look, right?
Yeah,
Like we know
yeah,
who how so a face to a number, like that's a marketing thing as well.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like jersey sales and all of that. And if they're not out on the field, it could jeopardize that. So, like you said,
hmm
it's if we can keep this player out for 3 weeks, that he could be filled because he could be on the field in 3 weeks. Versus
hmm
if he plays through this, it could potentially be worse to where he's out the rest of the. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like
Yeah.
it's so many things behind it.
Yeah, and
And
like you was talking about in that marketing thing, yeah, like you was saying back in the day, it was more of you knew the back of the jersey before you knew the player's face, and that
face,
was
yeah,
always the NFL's downfall when it comes to trying to actually create superstars.
yeah,
You had your twos and fews, but nobody knew the face of this person. It was always
yeah.
you just a name on the back of your jersey, unlike how like the NBA, where it's you see their face, so
Hmm.
you can identify who this person is.
Right.
And the NBA can make a big they have a big marketing brand globally because of that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But yeah, it's a whole different ball game there. And it is about like most of them want to protect their brand.
Oh yeah,
You know.
absolutely, absolutely, and that's really what it just comes down to. Before we end it, I have one thing to say about college. Right,
hmm
I did watch some college games. I have one thing to say.
hmm
Texas is the number one team right now, in my opinion, humble opinion. Um,
Yeah.
but I ain't even gonna talk about Arch Manning and all of that.
he
I
showed
want to
out though.
talk. I want to talk about one thing. Colorado State, Colorado State was talking. I'm gonna say cash shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Prior to the game, talking cash shit.
Oh yeah.
This is what I want to point out. The video was trending of Shador Sanders going up to I can't remember Colorado State's quarterback name. There's two names, whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
said you was talking all that shit. You can't fuck with me. Exact words, right? That's what he
Mm-hmm.
said, right? And everybody said, "Oh, Shador Sanders is a this all these negative things, right?" Play the whole video. Shador Sanders shook the coaches for Colorado State's
Yep.
hands
Yeah.
prior to that,
Yeah.
right?
He did.
Don't tell me he's a poor sport. Go back and don't tell me that he's like all these bad things when Colorado State's quarterback was talking a lot of cash shit prior to the game,
Yep.
right? Um, and Shador Sanders, like I said, went
He just called it
viral.
out.
He just called it out, right? So what we not gonna do,
They love to hate on them,
yeah,
the
what we
boys.
not gonna do, here we go again, is try to make Shador Sanders out to be
A
uh,
bad guy, poor sport.
some poor sport bad guy person.
No.
We're not gonna do that.
See, and
Um,
this is the
look,
problem with
the
to
Sanders family ain't paying me nothing, but I
you know
ain't
what I'm
gonna
saying,
make
for real. Like, but this is the problem with some of these fans that's out here, these lukewarm football fans and stuff like
that's
that,
what it
bro.
is.
Like,
Yep,
you out here, you're criticizing one player for not doing this, but where was the criticism when this dude was out here talking mash on the internet about him?
exactly.
You know what
Right,
I'm saying? Oh,
exactly.
he just supposed to suck it up and just nah.
Yeah,
I whooped
no,
your butt.
yeah,
Then after
and
the game, I let you know about
I let you
what you
know about it.
said,
Yeah,
and you
yep,
cannot touch me.
exactly.
And I
Bingo.
just showed it on the field.
Yep.
It's all
Period.
part of the game. It's
Yep.
all part of the game. And yes, I seen him. He gave the coach a handshake. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? It was just one person that he didn't, but
That
that
he
one
that he
person
didn't.
was the
That one.
one that was talking mad stuff. So
Exactly.
I don't know very many. I mean, there's some people that will be out there and just shake their hand and keep it moving and not say anything. But
Yeah.
he's not
But
one of
me,
those
I
type
would have
of
took it
people.
personal. I would have
Yeah,
took it personal too. I would have been the
yeah,
same way.
yeah.
And
The way you
I'm a
talking,
nice guy. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm a
you
nice
know what I'm
guy.
saying. Like
I'm cool with everybody.
even the nicest person, you can't just be out there talking, out the side of your neck about somebody and then
And
expect
then
to get respect at the end of a game.
game, right.
I respect the game of football, but
Mm-hmm.
at the end, it's f you on site. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
exactly. Exactly.
he went out there, he shook the hands of the coach. He showed
Mm-hmm.
respect, but
Yep.
that one person who was disrespecting him
Mm-hmm.
ain't got no respect for that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's just it.
Yep.
You know what I'm
It,
saying?
it is what it is, man. And you know that player, he talked stuff, and all right, yeah. Hey, you gotta back it up, So
Got
it
to.
just it is what it is, man. And
It,
you didn't, and Sanders let you know
exactly.
about it,
He let you know
and
about it at the end of the game.
and
You
that's
know.
that's it.
Now,
That's it.
if you would have been talking stuff and they would have won, I'm pretty sure it could have been a different outcome. He probably would have
Right.
been like, "Hey, it is what it is. Let's just keep
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
moving. The handshake and
Right.
keep it moving because you beat him."
Hmm. Yeah.
But since I won,
Yeah.
let you know where you really stand. I
Yep.
don't need to shake your hand. You
At
shouldn't have been
all.
talking like that at all. And
At all.
it's just you gotta give respect before you just gonna get respect like that. You
Oh,
know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
You just can't
Exactly.
be out there disrespecting somebody and then expect them to give you respect
Respect.
because
Yep.
just because of the sport of the game. Nah, you was
Yep.
talking mad stuff about me, bro. Why?
Hmm.
Why? I don't think very many people in the world outside of football, if they hear
Football,
you
right?
talking mad stuff about them and then you in their face smiling,
Yeah, that ain't gonna fly.
you know what I'm saying? Most people gonna look at you 14 karat crazy. Like, why you in my face
Yeah.
now? You was
Yep.
just sitting there talking mad. Nah, we
Hmm.
don't play that
Yeah.
game.
We don't play that. Exactly. Exactly. So yeah,
So
that's
he
all
was
I
he
gotta
was
say.
right.
Yeah, he was right in my humble opinion. 2K, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I am. Look, I know I don't be having time to play video
Yeah,
games.
you
I
don't be
know
playing
I
no.
said I was
No,
getting to it. I ain't.
you don't.
The
You,
2K, I'm gonna get on though.
you
I'm
ain't
I'm
playing
going
no video
I'm
games.
gonna rock with the 2K.
You ain't even got it yet.
I ain't got it yet, but I'm gonna
See,
get it.
you
I'm
see,
getting it this weekend.
you ain't getting no 2K, man.
I'm gonna get the 2K. When I get the 2K, it's
You go.
2K cross platform now.
Yeah, it's been cross
Yeah,
platform
2K.
for a
Yeah,
couple of
it's
years now. Yeah, you
yeah.
ain't getting no.
I'm getting the
You'll
2K.
get it for Aaron. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
no, no, no. I'm getting it for me.
You get it for Aaron. I know.
I'm getting it for me.
You
No,
know.
if Aaron, he can get his own games. I don't buy Aaron games no more. Okay, I stopped buying Aaron games. I'm good. You go out and you make you some money. He went and cut grass. He go buy his own games. I don't buy Aaron games no more. He too old for that. You go make your own. You go buy your own game. I buy him clothes. Hey, look,
The
as a parent,
necessities. Yeah.
as the parent, I'm only responsible for the necessities.
I feel you.
So
I feel you.
so, but then I'm gonna get on the 2K. I'm gonna hop on and I'm gonna do my player. I love my player. I'm actually try to make a legit my player, man. I'm gonna get
I hear
on it.
you.
I'm gonna
I
get
hear
on
you.
it.
Well, we be on. We be on. You know, you can
Yeah.
also. We do be doing the cross platform. You can cross platform and we can play. What you call
Okay.
it too? Like on the same
The
squad. So me and D-Town be on.
okay.
I haven't really put a lot of time in it.
Okay.
Since I did get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of bounced back before between that and college football, but I haven't really put a lot of time into it like I
Into
normally
it.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's something I got my gaming in, and then now I'm kind of almost on that reserve mode.
Mode.
Like I
Yeah.
was playing, this is probably I'm 3 games into my career season,
Oh,
and the
okay.
game
Yeah.
Ben came out. Like
Yeah.
Danny got a level 90 already,
Oh
things
wow.
like that.
He on it.
Well, I'm pretty sure somebody, maybe a little $20 here to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
your little
Yeah.
VC points or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, but he be on it more than me. But yeah,
Okay.
but if you get on it, let me know. I mean,
Will do.
we can all get up on there, link up or something like that. And then I think you can also still I don't know if you got Discord. I don't think D Town and them got Discord though.
No,
But
I got
I think
well on the box this a digital. The Xbox S I got is a
because
digital.
I know you can. I don't know how they're doing. I have to ask how they're doing it, but that we be playing and there be people in. Sometimes we play people on Xbox with Xbox, and they be in the
I feel
chat
you.
with us. So
Yeah, I'll look into it.
yeah,
I'm for sure getting that one though. I'm for sure
okay,
getting that one.
all right.
All
You
right,
still ain't got to do the college football though.
I know,
Yeah,
I
you
know,
ain't. Yeah, you supposed to get
I
that
know,
months ago. We
I know.
you ain't. You stay on that. You
Yeah.
stay over there on the Xbox. I don't told you how you can get a PS5. You ain't
I know. Yeah,
trying.
I'm gonna do it.
You
I'm gonna
capping.
do it.
You
I'm
know what I'm
gonna do it. I'm
saying?
gonna do
Capping. You wearing
it.
that Rams cap on. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna
Yeah,
do it.
man. All right.
All right, man. All
All
right,
right.
next Tuesday, man.
Oh yeah.
We'll be back on here chopping it up again.
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, man.
All right,
Peace.
all right. Peace.